What's going on, guys? Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas back with you on the live stream tonight. We are this afternoon, however you look at it, we are tracking the major snow going on across the Carolinas, parts of Georgia, into Virginia, and then, of course, the major cold that is spilling in behind it. The winds are going nuts all the way to Florida. We have seen snow in Florida. Again, it's diminishing as we speak on the Florida line, but we do have a little bit still hanging around the Big Bend area in that very light grainy blue that you see there, and then also just north of Lake City. But now most of it is just on the rainy side. Tallahassee, we had some light snow earlier, but certainly the big deal is going to be from about Savannah into Charleston and back to Augusta, Columbia, Greenville, Charlotte, Fayetteville, Raleigh. We're starting to get things to fill in. I know that there has been some, I guess, sadness in and around the Raleigh area. If you were with us for the live stream last night, and if you were with us for some of the videos we talked about, it was really all about the transfer from the upper low to the surface low, and pretty much right from Raleigh to Fayetteville. We've been in the middle of that. So I'm still optimistic that you guys are going to get some snow, but certainly we have to fill things in first. We are going to take a live meteorological look at all that stuff if you are interested, but we're going to bounce around to talk about some of the different snow rates that we are currently seeing out there. By the way, we're taking a live look tonight in Greenville, North Carolina. That is where the snow is coming down big time. You see that right here on the radar. Rocky Mount, Wilson, Goldsboro. Good evening. If I have anybody tuning in from North Carolina, welcome. The snow is coming down very heavy there, near blizzard conditions. We'll get into the wind speed in just one second. And then we're also taking a live look in Rock Hill, South Carolina, courtesy of our friends at WeatherStem. There we are in Rock Hill. We have one of those heavier bands coming through that will help to really increase snow rates going further. So post in the comments where you're tuning in from. If you have a specific request we can go check in on across the southeast corner or across the United States in whole, just post that in there and we'll get to any questions. I will do my best to get to. Thank you guys a ton for coming out and hanging out with us. Thank you for all of the new subscribers that we've picked up over the last couple of weeks as we have been tracking the winter weather that has kind of gone nuts. Report from, look at that, Rayburn, Georgia, 8 inches of snow coming in. So a couple of different boxes to kind of set things into motion going forward. We're tracking some power outages down across in the bottom of the screen. Those are starting to mount a little bit into Florida. And then we'll be doing the main radar work across the northern, the top box, if you will. Michael says, Eastern Montana, rain this morning, 50 degrees. You are one of the warm people, for sure. Warmer people. Columbia, South Carolina, getting a lot of heavy snow. What's going on, Break Commander? I have not seen you in a minute. Good to see you, my friend. 16 Medic RN, good to see you as well as always. It is windy in Central Florida. The temperatures are dropping very, very fast. Altamont has power outages that we've been watching those start to climb. I have the news side of things calling around to see if it is wind related or if it might be they were talking about maybe some issues with the heat, too much power coming through. So that's going to be something that we are going to be watching going forward. There are the current temperatures. So our friend in Montana, nice and warm. Look at that. It is pushing 60 in Billings right now. That's nuts. Up in PA for work. Stay warm. I have family up there, and it is frigid. Air temperatures now in the teens, wind chills in the single digits. So I want to get back to we can track all that. And this is something that we are watching too. This is all still, these power outages are still from the ice storm last week. Ring neighbors are reporting. Let me stop and that must be very, very recent. Seminole did light up just a second ago. But we have 1,500 people in Marion without power, 900 in Lake, 200 in Sumter, Volusia. We have 300 without power. And then it is like very, very fresh in Altamont within the last 15 minutes. You see it pop up there, then go away. So we are just getting to that. So there are 200 customers without power in and around the Seminole County, Sanford area, Altamont Springs, all that stuff. All right, so let's get back to the map. Any questions you may have, hit me up. Right now, we have temperatures in the 20s in Roanoke, 19 in Raleigh, 22 in Atlanta. Factor in the wind, and it's feeling like 9 in Raleigh, 1 in Columbus. That was the other big side of this storm. So here is our developing area of low pressure, and it's off the coast, and that's one of the reasons why that we are not going to see any huge impacts, at least from any kind of snow in the Northeast. We've talked about that at length for about a week now, that this one was going to miss the big cities of the Northeast. And all that stuff. If you are MTG Battlegrounds, he said, what are the power outages from? There is just wind, no rain or storms. Yeah, the wind might be doing it. We have had wind gusts pushing 45 miles an hour in the Central Florida area. Let me show you. Let me pull up. We've even had wind gusts topping 50 miles an hour around the Gainesville area. So there's where they could be from. Now they've kind of come back down, but we have a wind gust of 43 in Daytona right now, in and around Orlando, 34 miles an hour, pushing 40 in Melbourne and Mico. And again, just last hour, we had wind gust of 54-mile-per-hour reported at the Gainesville airport. So it could be from the wind. One of the issues also could be, and again, I have our news desk calling in to see about the Central Florida stuff. If we happen to have, if power companies might be doing some blackout stuff, or things might start becoming overwhelmed because of the power consumption. So we're gonna work to get that all that sorted out. But nonetheless, it's pretty wild. All right, Leandra, good to see you again. So much snow in upstate South Carolina area covers your feet stepping into it, and it is still going. So here's where we stand right now. We are still going to be watching this. Let me put the radar back into motion over the last 30 minutes. There you go. I'm not sure where exactly you are, but Greenville getting that really dark band right here, kind of pushing back through. That's at least 1 inch per hour snowfall rates. And then we have another one of those stripes in and around Sumter, Columbia, back up into Rock Hill, just south of Charlotte. Here's the deal with Raleigh, and it's not really dry air that's hurting you. For that, I want to take you to the other weather computer, and it's very, very, I have that somewhere. This is what is hurting you in Raleigh. So we have this big upper low screaming down in, okay? Out here, we have the surface low. Well, right, so everything in kind of west, North, and South Carolina over here is getting the snow from the upper low. And then everybody out here and down towards Georgia getting the snow from this developing big surface storm out here. We are right smack dab in the middle of the two. The two really aren't connected just yet. And again, that's one of the reasons why it's not going to be a big snowstorm for the 95 corridor in the Northeast. If it was, this guy would have grabbed the surface low and then yanked it right up, and then we would have everything kind of fill in north central North Carolina. So that's one of the reasons why we aren't seeing that. And we aren't seeing the snow kind of fill in. I think eventually it will, but we are having some trouble big time at the moment for the Raleigh, Durham area, Fayetteville, maybe even into Wilmington, as we are kind of the sweet spot of being right in the middle of the upper low and into the surface low. So just a couple of things there. It's not really dry air. It's just how things are coming together with the storm. Foot of snow in Mooresville, North Carolina, and it is still going. Thank you for that report. We have the power report or the power outages report and some of the storm reports coming in. So again, would love to get your comments in the comment section if you do have some of those storm reports. Every now and then as well, you'll see it scrolling across the bottom. We have the airport delays. and it looks like we have Charlotte in the purple there, so a ground stop. No snow in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I think you're close to getting it. We're finally getting that upper low to wrap around, so you should get a pretty healthy burst. Out of Pembroke and Lumberton, we have the snow, and it's kind of lifting back off towards the north. That is the upper low. So I think you're going to get into snow, especially if you're on the western side of Fayetteville. If you are on the east side of Fayetteville, that is where we're going to have some issues. It should still all fill in. So there's the foot of snow report in Mooresville. I mean, just crazy. It's the tale of two sides of the state there. 11 to 12 inches last week up in PA. Yeah, and it's still there. It's crazy how long that is staying there. Beverly, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for hanging out with us as we are tracking back-to-back weekends now of a major winter storm. In Montana, of all places, rubbing it in today. 55 degrees in Miles City, Montana. Just absolutely incredible. And it's the southeast corner of the United States, including Florida and the Carolinas. It's getting pounded with the snow and the bitter cold out there. Crazy stuff as we go forward. All right, let me pull out this view here and let's get back to the coast. New Bern, Havelock, Jacksonville. We got to be getting close to blizzard conditions here. Very heavy snow continues to pour in off of the Atlantic and lift up. This was always going to be the kind of highest opportunity for the 12 plus inch range in North Carolina from Rocky Mount to Greenville to New Bern. And then this is kind of the secondary side on the western part of the state from Greensboro to Thomasville to Salisbury. And then Charlotte was kind of like right in the middle there. And if you get like a wide view, you can see the snow kind of pinwheeling around the two different directions there from the upper low back to the surface low. But just some crazy stuff. It's if anybody tuning in from Georgia, Statesboro back to Savannah, some pretty good snow falling right now if you like that stuff. Blizzard conditions in Robertsonville, if I can talk today, near Greenville in Williamston, North Carolina. So we're all back in here. Let me bring up the wind speed again because I mean it's close. I have to check the hourly observations, but I mean again, it's 35 miles an hour for 3 straight hours with visibility reduced to a quarter mile or less. So last hour, we were sustained at about 40 something in Ocracoke. We're gusting to 43. Kill Devil Hill is gusting to around 40. So it is certainly rain. All right. So this is a good report from Crystal River because we were watching that thing come in. Very light rain in Crystal River a minute ago. It wasn't flurries, but it was definitely cold. So thank you for that report because we were watching kind of the blue turn back to green as that was kind of pinwheeling around that area of low pressure. All right. So Kannapolis, North Carolina, we have 10 inches. These are some fresh storm reports coming in. UNC Charlotte reporting 6 inches of snow now. Jackson, North Carolina, or in Jackson County, North Carolina, southwest of Cherokee, 9 inches of snow. And then the report coming in from just 5 minutes ago in Cherryville, we have 6.6 inches of snow. So a really nice snowstorm if you want it for the Carolinas. Virginia Ginger mentioned she's noticed the wind or the snow coming from 2 different directions. 100% right there. And we'll pull back the radar to a wider view, and you can see that we have it coming out of kind of the northwest here, and then you have it pushing up from this direction over here. And that is because of the upper low that's kind of curling everything up and around. and then the surface low, which is developing down here and kind of pushing everything back inland. So really cool stuff. Thunder snow maybe in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So I'm glad you brought that up because I just I just turned on the lightning tracker. So thank you for that reminder. The storm is producing lightning. There's nothing that you likely would have heard just yet. Everything's out to sea. Look at that, 27 strikes. It's closer to where the storm itself is developing, way out over to the Atlantic. It's going to be possible. We have to crank up those snow rates a little bit further. Look at this very narrow band right here. That is cranking. That's probably 2 inches per hour snowfall rates right in through New Bern, Jacksonville, North Carolina, Kingston, Greenville. My neighborhood, Cherryville, but I live closer to Lincoln County line, just over it. Crazy location. Shake and Bake says the dry slot. I mean, it really is. Like, look at it. It is snowing heavily on the eastern side of North Carolina. It is really coming down, and on the east side, it's coming down on the west side, and then right smack dab from about the west side of Wilmington back up into Fayetteville and Raleigh. It's like, nope. Great question. So and I have the answer for you. So the way the left portion of the storm stops is that the front from north just pushes it south and out to sea. Can that process fail? So what is going on here? And for that, I'm going to tune back to the handy dandy water vapor imagery. So let me go back to my other screen. This tells the story. So these big storms come in pieces. So what we have going on here is this is the upper low diving in around. So this is what is producing all of the snow on the west side of South Carolina, northeast Georgia, into southwest Virginia, into Tennessee. This upper low here. That is the reason that we have that surface low out at sea developing as we speak. So there's the surface low. This is the upper low. And right smack dab in the middle is right about where we don't have any of the snow. The two just aren't connected. If we were going to get the snow to fill in at least right now, this guy would be kind of digging a little bit further to the south and then yanking this low closer to the coast. And that's where we'd be talking about a really big snowstorm to continue up towards DC, Philly, New York City, Boston, and then into New England. So that is what's going on. There's a disconnect. That low is because it's feeling the pressure drop there from the upper low. However, the two aren't connected. So eventually that is going to fill in, and we should see some snow everywhere in North Carolina. Lego Train's asking, I've been doing weather since 2010, 2011. So what, 15 years, 16 years? That's how long I've been doing it. Yeah, that is not Cedar Key, Florida. Sorry, whoops. I see. I have my my bad. My bad, because I went to the wrong screen that I have the thing. Yeah, that's gonna be Sumter, South Carolina that I just showed you there. Not that much snow. We might see a flake on the Gulf side, but not that much. Some of the models were going crazy this morning. Just east of Tampa. I don't know that you get 2 inches east of Tampa. So I do think that Wilmington is gonna get something. Let me see. I'm just going to change that title real quick so that I can bring that back over. No, that was professionally for 15 years. So yeah, done it professionally for 15 years. I mean, love the weather all my life, but professionally 15 years. All right. So here's the deal. Let me bring back the other weather computer here. I'm going to show you this is the high resolution model, and it's doing a good job showing the two distinct areas. This is from what run was this? This was from 18Z. Let me see if the new one, if I have a fresh one. Okay. So this is through 7 o'clock tonight. Notice we still kind of have that little dry area in between. And there's footprint number one, there's footprint number two. So let's take this further out. And then you're going to see this kind of push in from up here back down here. So that's going to be as that surface low develops and then lifts up, it's going to send its moisture back off the Atlantic down here. So for Wilmington, what, right about in here, watch the snow kind of fill back through. So, I mean, you're talking about the latest high resolution model wants to put like 10 plus inches of snow. It does look like, I mean, it's like so close, and it's crazy to see the synoptic scale, the large scale features kind of come together. It's crazy. Hey, Jonathan, thank you, appreciate that. Hurricane wind in North Florida. When will the wind end? It's not going to end until about tomorrow afternoon, and it will still be breezy tomorrow afternoon. Let me show you the wind gust forecast. I think I have it up here. Let me change the timeline. I still have it set from last night when we were streaming live. So let me get to 11 o'clock. Look at that in Ocracoke. So it's still, tonight, it's still cranking and gets even stronger. And then that breeze stays with us, gradually backing up. Whoops, sorry. I don't have the right screen up. My bad. So I'm talking about this, and you're probably like, what is he talking about? So there's Ocracoke, crazy stuff. And then there we go in North Florida. It's going to be really gusty tomorrow still. That's why it is, the wind chills are going to be so disgusting tomorrow morning in Florida. There it is as well, back down to the teens. And then finally, like Monday, it's still a touch breezy, but it's not like this. So by, I think, the second half of tomorrow, we really start to watch things subside in the wind department. So we'll at least have that going for us for tomorrow. Looks like we have some fresh snowfall reports coming in too, so we can take a look at that. All right, in Star, South Carolina, if anybody tuning in from there, we have 2.5 inches. Princeton, about 3.5 inches. In West Virginia, getting in on the snowfall party on the west side. Emergency management in Rest Haven. This is in Georgia. 3 inches of snow. In Buford, off of Dusty Trail, if I happen to have anybody tuning in from Rest Haven, Georgia. And then Mount Airy, Georgia, 7 inches of snow. So far, the forecast that we put together last week in the videos leading up to this and what we talked about on the live stream last night is working out pretty good. It's working out pretty good. If you're just joining us if you're finding the channel for the first time, by the way, I'm Jonathan. I'm a meteorologist, and we're building this weather community, and I can't do this without you guys. So I'd love it if you'd hit that subscribe button and send in your storm reports, because that's the biggest thing that we need and that I need to kind of help this channel grow and to build this weather community, these storm reports, just like what's coming in right now from Donna. Thank you. 2 inches in Somerville. I really appreciate that. Midlands, 803, South Carolina. So thank you guys again for your reports. If you stumbled on us on the channel for the first time, I love to know about it. Let me know in the comments if you are finding us for the first time, if you are able. Snowfall reports coming in South Park Mall, about 6 inches. Emergency management report in Rest Haven now updating that snowfall total to 4 inches. So it's coming down at a pretty good clip. We've been watching that. So on that note, we are going to get back to the radar. Here's where all this stuff has been coming through again, right on the eastern side of Georgia from Augusta back to Waynesboro. Man, it'd be crazy to see Augusta National with the snow on it. Little River, South Carolina on the coast, just at the NC state line, has 0 inches. It's going to fill in. It should start to fill in. So there you go. We have moisture down toward Myrtle Beach. That's going to push in, and that's going to start falling as snow. So that's going to start to push back up into your area, right along the state line, Jerry. So if you're rooting for the snow, it's coming, my friend. Hey, Beverly, good to meet you. First time viewer. I appreciate you hopping on the stream and checking us out. Hope you're staying warm wherever you are tuning in from. Beaufort, South Carolina, a little bit of snow. Thanks, Leandra. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate you being on the team and bringing the questions and the storm reports and all that stuff. So thank you for making this channel what it is. I really appreciate it. All right. So if anybody wants to check in on their town, again, post in the comments. If you just want to send a storm report, we love that. We're taking a live look tonight in Greenville, North Carolina. It is coming down. And then also tonight in Rock Hill, the visibility, we've watched that kind of drop in South Carolina at a pretty good clip. Let me get my radar down there. Should be looping where the power outages are. Let me fix that real quick. Maybe it won't let me. The heaviest snow, no doubt, right now. I mean, we're taking a look at it. That's Greenville, North Carolina. There is a really gnarly band. This is kind of pushing in from the Atlantic. So heads up in Tarboro and Wilson and Rocky Mount, Goldsboro. This thing right here, if you see that, how it gets a little bit darker, and now it kind of pushed out of that is moving in that direction. Let me stop this so we can actually get a thing. But if I happen to have anybody tuning in here, we have a really healthy snow band, certainly at least an inch per hour. Belle Arthur, it's happening right now. Penny Hill in about 4 minutes, and then Mildred in about 5 minutes. Kittrell Hill in about 4 minutes as well. We're tracking this kind of embedded banding feature within the overall shield of some snow. So it's coming down at a good clip. Hey, what's going on in Ayden, North Carolina? All right, let's check you out. That is close to Greenville, I believe. There we go. So you kind of just got out. Are you there now? Are you in Ayden or asking about somebody in Ayden? Because I'd love to get the ground truth to what we're seeing on the radar. This is that band that we were just highlighting. It's coming out of Greenville, and we're taking a live look again just to the north of you in Ayden. It's still going to be snowing at a pretty good clip, and it's going to be doing that for a while. But the heaviest band should shut off, like that little burst that just came through. And that is going to slide back to the west toward Farmville, Snow Hill, ironic, Fountain, Pikeville, Fremont. So that's where that's going to happen. Let's back this up. Somerville. Oh, gotcha. Your daughter is there. Okay. So yeah, she just had a really healthy snow band come through. I wonder. I'll see if we get a report from around Greenville or Aden, because I mean it is really really heavy. If they are rooting for snow, they just had a healthy band. There it is, right there, still on the west side of Aden. All right, so let's head down to Summerville, South Carolina, and there we go. So that is the there is the push of moisture coming through Somerville. So not as intense, but we do have another little band. Oops, sorry, meant to grab my telestrator rather than move the mat. Let me stop this. And you have probably a couple of minutes away from this like double banding feature that is sliding in from your south and west. So it is going to pick up a little bit. Let me go to what the high resolution model and just see. Let me see what the high resolution model shows. Because now these things do a really good job. Yeah, I mean, I do think you could end up with 4 inches in Somerville. I would I would probably say 2 to 4 inches in Somerville. Yeah, and I think you have that opportunity for sure. All right, we're gonna head to Florence, South Carolina. Let's see. We'll get you to pop up. There we go. Okay, so kind of in a lull, relatively speaking. The darker the blue, the heavier the snow. But you kind of see here, still off to the south, right around Sumter, how we have these little banding features right on through. This is because of the upper low that we talked about if you're with us a little bit ago. Um, and it is going to pinwheel around Florence. So I would say probably let's put a tracker on this. Let me stop the loop. Sorry, didn't mean to grab the map again. Got to grab my tool up there. So I would say probably your snow rates should pick up again in about 30 minutes. If you are watching in Florence or watching for somebody in Florence. Oh, thank you, Eugene, for that. I appreciate that. And thank you, M5 Research 915. I really appreciate that as well. So I'd seen that a bomb cyclone low might reach 972 or so for pressure. How does that compare? Let me finish the it cuts off the comments. Let me go back to the main YouTube page. Let me finish your good question. Um, you're getting close to a category two if you're gonna equate that to pressure. Like you're getting probably that's a category two hurricane. So yeah, that thing that's a good question. Let me just double check. You said yeah, 974. 974 is about a About a cat 2. That it all depends. Like you can because they measure it on the wind speed. So sometimes you can have a larger hurricane, so the pressure won't be as low, or vice versa. So it depends. But on a typical scale, you're pushing a Category 2 hurricane for sure. All right, Jim. Thank you so much for that report. 10 inches in Southmont, North Carolina. Gotta be a joke there. Thank God we live in Florida where it's nice and warm. That is changing big time. Love that. Love that. But a great question, a great comment by M5 Research 915. Thank you for that. And he brings up, I'm amazed given it's 19 degrees in Chapel Hill. So, and that's the crazy thing about it. So, hurricanes are going to get their strength from the warm water. And to a degree, the warm water goes into what we have. That's scientifically, that is called a barotropic low, a hurricane, a tropical system. That's a barotropic low. What we're dealing with here scientifically is a baroclinic low. So it's going to get its strength from differences in temperature and pressure in the atmosphere. So that's what we have going on here. So this is basically, we have the storm developing over the Gulf Stream. So it is relatively warm out there. Let me actually, we can check that. I believe I have that queued up. So the storm itself, you see all the lightning to kind of give you where the storm is. All of this yellow, this is the Gulf Stream. So it is nice and toasty, relatively speaking, out there. Look at that. It's still 77, 78 degrees. Whoops, sorry. Wrong map. Did it again. 77 to 78 degrees. Okay, we have a real whiteout going on in Greenville, probably just a camera issue, but it's pretty close. So we have the storm developing out over the Gulf Stream right now. And as that's happening, we have this big blast of cold coming in from that upper low. So there is a very strong temperature and pressure gradient because of the warm surface temperature of the ocean right there. And then the big blast of cold coming in from the Arctic Circle and through Canada, through the northern United States. That is what is helping to create this. So, two different processes involved to get the strengthening of the storm. Whereas in tropical season and hurricane season, you're talking solely off of the warmer water. Where here, you're looking at the temperature difference and pressure difference in the atmosphere that it's going through. Wind chill in Tampa Bay is 36. It is absolutely crazy that they're going to play a hockey game outside. Like, how lucky did they get that they have like the coldest air in 15, 16 years coming down the pipeline just in time for that outdoor hockey game tomorrow? Gasparilla is going wild out there. I saw tents blowing all over the place for going on through there. Okay. How much does the snow rate have to fall to get thunder snow in Fayetteville, North Carolina? It's all dependent upon the instability. So that's kind of has to do with slantwise convection. It's a whole big process that you look at the maps and all that stuff. Typically, when you're looking at thunder snow, though, when you get the lightning to strike, the snow rates are about 2, 3, 4 inches per hour in that ballpark. So really intense snowfall rates whenever you have thunder and lightning happening at the same time. What's going on, Golfing Ferdy? Getting windy and chilly down here in Jensen Beach. I love the little wind thing. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Grammy 2796. I really appreciate that a ton. Thank you for that. Super chat. Is Ocean City? I don't think you're going to get some wind in Ocean City, but I do not think you're going to get a ton of snow. Let's run this back here and let's get back to the radar picture. And let me just see. This is going to be, make sure nothing has changed. Yeah, and it's even gone further to the east. So you see, for us in Ocean City, you might see a couple of flakes. You might see a couple of flakes. So this is the latest Euro rendition of of the storm. And there we go. Let me add my banner back so that I can get my telestrator out, and I'll show you what that it looks like things have even pushed further to the east. So you might get a dusting, but I don't see anything really crazy. All right, so let me play this out again. Make sure I'm on the right map. And let's zoom in. Love Ocean City, by the way. It's the best. So yeah, there you go. Less than an inch. So that continued eastern push is going to keep it completely, not completely off, but nothing too crazy. And then it even continued. If I have anybody tuning in from the Boston area, we talked about you had a shot, but it couldn't really go that much further to the east. And I mean, now I don't think that you're going to get much, and maybe a few flakes in Boston. I mean, there's Plymouth is even less than an inch, and now we're talking about maybe 1 to 2 inches toward Cape Cod, Nantucket. Whereas the other day, it looked like there was a potential for like 6 inches of snow. Maybe Nantucket. Yeah, 2 to 4 in Nantucket. So you got a Lego train. Awesome stuff about your grandfather, too. Great grandfather. All right. So let me get back to the actual radar. Any questions? I'll do my best to kind of zoom around the map. I don't know if our other friend from South Carolina, I think I had another South Carolina question. Let me see. Somerton, South Carolina. Oops, let me get back to the radar. Currently 7 degrees here in Boone, North Carolina. Wind gusts around 19 miles an hour. Measured 12 inches at the house. Missed that report before. Thank you, Puppy One, for that great report. That's fantastic. That's a really, really good snowstorm if you like the snow and the wind. All right, so we're going to get back to Somerton. There actually looks like they're getting a good little burst of snow. But I think that's kind of close to Orangeburg. I thought it was anyway. South of Columbia. There we go. It's not popping up. Okay. So Somerton, we're in a nice, healthy band. If you are still with us right now, really nice band pushing through from about Manning to Somerton. It's coming in from the south and west again around the upper low. So as that keeps kind of pinwheeling through, that's going to push back from the southwest into the northeast. So a couple of bands, Ellery getting some heavy snow as well. That's going to move back up into Somerton. So we're going to continue to keep that as well. 9 inches of snow in Franklin. Let's go check up on Franklin. I think one of the things, in my opinion, I think a lot of people were scared. And I mean, rightfully so. The dry slot has ruined many snowstorms before. I think a lot of people were scared forecasting because of a dry slot potential. That dry slot is not here. Now, this is not a dry slot. This is because we have the upper low and the surface low, and this just happens to be the dead zone where the two are trying to come together. So that's not really the dry slot. The dry slot's eventually going to scream in this direction and kind of work its way up, should pinwheel off the coast. So Franklin, North Carolina, you guys have overachieved as well, I think. because of the upper low, and you're getting some of the. Oh, did someone just put there was a convective outlook? Let me see. Let me see. There's nothing better, in my opinion. Like nothing. There's so far no mesoscale discussions in effect. At least let me just double check. I love it when there's a mesoscale discussion from the Storm Prediction Center when they highlight it because that means you have the chance for really intense snow rates and it's really fun. Yeah, it does not look like there's any in effect right now. Doesn't mean we're not getting heavy snow. We certainly are. When there were some in effect before. See you, Lego Train. Good to talk to you, my friend. Thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit. Great stuff as always. All right, so let's kind of reset here for anybody just joining us this evening. We have some heavy snow pushing south to north into Virginia. This is going to be, and we're looking for the darker stripes here. And I mean, it is really coming down just to the east of Greenville. That is, or just to the west of Greenville, I should say, New Bern. That's where we have, that's where we have those really intense snow rates. Again, certainly pushing more than an inch per hour. Gastonia, North Carolina. Sorry if I mispronounced that. And I believe I know where that is. It should be west of Charlotte. There we go. Getting hit hard now. And that just goes to show from a reflectivity perspective, it does not appear that I mean it's coming down for sure, but it's not as intense as even what we're like. Look at the shades of blue difference. And there's a nice healthy band here that is that's rolling or west central towards Spartanburg, South Carolina, from Spartanburg to Lawrence to Greenwood. Really crazy stuff. Sumter taking it on the chin now. Charleston, South Carolina. Let's head back to you. We are in the nice thick band here. Certainly, we're going to stay all snow, all even at the beach. There's the mix line, and that is even going to be pushing further away from the coast. So we're going to continue to keep that. Hampstead, North Carolina, they have a lot. And I think you're going to get more. Let's head up the road. That's just north of Wilmington? I think I saw it pop up. No, that was Holly Ridge. It should be. I don't know if it's just not popping up, but I thought it was between. And correct me if I'm wrong. I thought it was between Wilmington and Topsail Beach. There we go. There we go. There's Hampstead. So yeah, we're still it just needed to get really close to it. Okay. So yeah, we still have a steady stream of snow even coming in. We have it coming right in off the Atlantic, and then we have all of this stuff that as the surface low develops, it's going to ride up that way and it's going to push all back in. So um we still have a ton of time to go. Chesterfield, Virginia. All right, let's head up to Chesterfield. I feel like I don't know. Do you remember how much snow you were expecting? I don't know if you were with us before, but I feel like Richmond's getting in on a decent amount of snow right now. The Richmond area through Chesterfield. Um, I mean, it's coming down at a pretty good clip. And let me zoom things back out again. It's going to continue to rise up. Now, a lot of it is going to go west and then eventually get flung out to the east. But let me. So here's the deal. And I want to show you the other screen again. By the way, South or North Carolina, Greenville, we keep the visibility continues to go down. That's a live look, by the way, in North Carolina, and then Sumter, South Carolina, where we've gotten some snow. What we're looking at here is one of the latest runs of the high resolution model. So let me bring out the telestrator, and we're right about in here. And I think it's, I mean, it has some of the light snow there, and then it quickly shuts off. So according to that, I think it's still missing it a little bit because the snow is really spread north of Chesterfield and north of Richmond already. But might be able to get a couple of inches out of this. All right, Lewisburg. I assume Lewisburg, North Carolina. So let me get back to the map here. There we go. We have, so that band that we were actually just tracking, or there were two of them. So we have right there, and then there's a couple of these intense snow bands. This one that was coming out of Greenville before. All of that is pushing in your direction. So it's certainly snowing right now, but give it another few minutes and that is going to start to pick up the snowfall rates again in Lewisburg. That's again, if anybody tuning in from Nashville or Rocky Mount, North Carolina, Red Oak, North Carolina, Spring Hope, it's snowing at a really good clip right now. But Lewisburg, we have some good snow coming your direction. All right, check near Tampa. It's good. It's probably good for a time check in Florida because we are on flurry watch. While you guys in Carolina, in the Carolinas, Georgia, and Virginia are getting some really good accumulating snowfall, we are on flurry watch in the state of Florida. So let's take a look. Here's what's going on in Tampa. There's nothing blue, and it's still in the 50s. So, I mean, it's cold out there, but it's still in the 50s. We have some scattered showers, again, just south of Tampa Bay, closer to Brandon and to Bloomingdale. Let's back the train up a little bit. Sarasota, we have some heavy rain back towards Port Charlotte and into Northport. So all of that's kind of coming in out ahead of the really, really strong front that is still working its way down. Let me show you. What's going on here through the state of Florida. There's the Arctic cold front. So it's at 46 now in Orlando. And 33 in Tallahassee. We're at 31 degrees in Pensacola, 35 in Jacksonville. That's all rushing down the Florida Peninsula. It's going to be really cold tomorrow morning. All right, have a comment that says in Virginia Beach and not snowing there. So then a lot of that then must not really be reaching the ground. Check the surface observations. Man, my surface observation is okay. So for it's snowing lightly near, like at right at the observing site in Virginia Beach. So you might just be like in a little lull, but all that stuff. All right. So if you guys are new to the channel, if you're finding us for the first time, let me know. Post in the comments. Would love to know. Would love to meet you guys. Um, if someone is acting a fool, we have the troll of the hour. And we found the first one. This guy here. Hand of the, I don't even know what the heck your handle is. Another blow up over nothing. Nothing burgers for dinner. Where are all my North Carolina people that had just said that we're piling up over a foot of snow in the eastern side of the state and pushing 9 inches on the west side of the state, and South Carolina getting several inches of snow? Same for Georgia. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but this is a really, really impactful snowstorm. Not to mention the wind is cranking up on the coast right now. We have wind gusts pushing 50 miles an hour in Ocracoke, 40 miles an hour in Kill Devil Hills, 23 mile per hour gusts in Raleigh and Charlotte. Look at Asheville, 40 mile per hour gusts. So there you go. Troll of the hour, that guy. All right, how about Orlando? Any flakes? I am trying to wring out the atmosphere to see a flake in Orlando. Oh, okay. So then, okay, all right, then I will take that back. I will take that back. I'm gonna retroactively then take this out. So I don't know what part of he's a dude in Virginia, sees no snow. What part of Virginia? We can take a look at you, my friend. I'll roll that back. But yeah, record breaking in North Carolina for sure. So it's all relative where it's a nothing burger versus that. Yeah, we have rescinded the title. We have rescinded that title of Troll of the Hour. So you are not that. I'll concede to that. But yeah, most snow in 10 years. Yeah, it's all relative. I know Virginia wasn't expected to see a ton of snow. So Norfolk, Virginia. Okay. You're close to some. But yeah, you guys were maybe early on. Some of the forecasts had you guys painted for a lot, but this thing is quickly going to ramp up and then like leave off the East Coast very, very quickly. So you might be able to see some. But yeah, I mean, the accumulation factor is not a ton. Let me look at the snowfall. Yeah, like you might get less than an inch here. Cool. Good to meet you, brother. Thanks for hopping on the stream. Not a troll. Cool. Good report from Augusta. Roads are pretty much clear in Augusta. At least where he's chilling in from or tuning in from. Just chilling in Augusta. Spartanburg has at least 6 inches now. Great report there. Thank you for that. Our friend Leandra tuning back in. Lewisburg is getting hammered. So yeah. All right, we've got a lot of people on the stream tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. We're doing these live streams more often now. If you're finding us for the first time, let me know. I'd love to give you a shout out if you're tuning in for the first time and finding the channel. We talk about weather, obviously. That's the name of the channel, Just Weather, all the time. And we are here because of the craziness that has happened over YouTube and social media about the misinformation when it comes to the weather. I'm a real meteorologist and we like to get hyper local. So if you're into that stuff and just like to BS about the weather like I do, consider hitting that subscribe button. The thing that makes this channel great is that we are a weather community. I just don't spew stuff out at you guys. I need your snowfall reports. I need your storm reports when there's bad weather out there. This is a two-way street. This is kind of collectively our weather channel. So if you're interested in joining that and being a part of that and sending in your storm reports all the time, would love to have you on board. Consider hitting that subscribe button as we grow the channel. We've had a couple thousand new subscribers over the last week or so. Really appreciate everybody tuning in. So thank you a ton for being here. All right, most snow in 10 years. Last week, I was out in person taking pictures. I studied for emergency disaster response. Had a great time, but the reading and learning are mega important. Thanks for this. Hey, I appreciate you. No, that is super vital information. So it's always great to have someone like you on the stream. Really appreciate all the work that you do for sure. So thank you a ton for being here tonight. Let's go find another camera. We've been looking at Rock Hill, South Carolina. We're going to change up some of the cameras here. So we'll do this in real time. Hey, thanks, my friend Tycoon Tony. Really appreciate you finding the stream first and subscribing. So really appreciate you being here. Sweet. Thank you a ton. I appreciate your work up in Virginia. He's subscribed. Keep it up. Post if we see some snow. Thank you for that. So a lot of this stuff here, the air is super dry in the Norfolk, Virginia Beach area. So a lot of that stuff is evaporating before it hits the ground. So that's the key there. I'm trying to walk and chew gum here. And if you happen to be tuning in from the greater Central Florida area, I have to leave the stream at about 7 o'clock Eastern because we have a newscast here and we're talking about the crazy wind and cold in Central Florida. So I'm going to keep the stream rolling on a loop that kind of bounces around all over the snow area and has the latest on the power outages and things like that. All right, so let's see what's going on. All right, so what if we visit Chapel Hill? Any UNC fans? Holy cow. Wait till you see this. Okay. Oh, yeah. We just got this over the radar return. The top picture now is Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Awesome stuff. I'm going to change the title there. There we go. We got somebody from Wilmington. Welcome. Post in the comments where you're tuning in from tonight as we are watching. That's almost looking like Lightspeed Star Wars stuff when you're driving and you have the snow coming at you and it looks like you're in the Millennium Falcon. Great stuff there. So UNC getting walloped with the heavy snow. Let's go check in. All right, we had somebody in Boone earlier. I don't know if they are still on. We got two universities up. We've got UNC and we have Appalachian State in Boone, North Carolina. This is great stuff. Great placement of the cameras from our friends at WeatherStem. And this is going to be Boone, North Carolina. Typing that in real time. Great stuff. Okay, so let's take a look at Chapel Hill to put the radar with the actual screen. Let's head out to Wake Forest. Obviously still on the same map. It's right in the same place. Yeah, so you're close. You're close. So Abby, you are close, okay? Here we go. We're going to time this out. So here's Wake Forest. And then this band right here is some very heavy snow. So you'll likely see a couple of flakes starting to pick up. And then maybe in the next 30 to 45 minutes, that band is going to be there. And that's going to give us some really heavy snow. So it's coming. All right, so let's zoom back out in all of this stuff. And there's the storm itself developing. We have the lightning strikes just offshore. Have not seen one onshore just yet. We do have the power outages going up. The map there shows the numbers. Where's the snow Charlotte supposed to get? So you guys been kind of stuck in the drier stuff. There's some of the light snow there. I do think though, in a very short time, like I mean, I don't know how much more you're getting. It shouldn't be too much more. See. Yeah, Charlotte, you might get like another inch more maybe in Charlotte. I'm not sure how much you were expecting in Charlotte. I don't know how much you have either. Let me see if any storm reports or fresh reports coming in from Charlotte. We have Graham's Forge, Virginia, 5.3 inches in Wythe County. Shout out to Wythe County. Used to live around there. Charleston, South Carolina, 1/10 of an inch of snow. So Charleston dumping some reports of some snow right now. Hasn't started yet in Wilmington. It's close. There it is coming up from North Myrtle Beach to Oak Island. You should start to fill in as that pushes your direction. So a little break. I mean, I guess you can't really call it a break if it hasn't started yet. However, it's coming too. So that's some good stuff. All right, so if you're just joining us tonight, first of all, welcome. We're taking a live look in Chapel Hill. It is coming down, then also in Boone, North Carolina. That's where we have two of the biggest bursts of snow right now. One right smack dab just to the west of Raleigh. Then we have the main event right out through here in the darker blue. So that's some really heavy stuff. Right on the eastern side of North Carolina. And then we have some moderate snow in central South Carolina. And then right on the Georgia South Carolina line, we have more light to moderate snow. So it's kind of in pieces. That's been the issue with this storm. We talked about that all last week in the videos leading up to this snow event. So if you're interested in the video forecast, hit that subscribe button. Nothing in New York City area yet, just previous accumulation, but it's freezing in West Manhattan. And I don't think you guys are getting anything with this storm in New York City. If you wanted more, I don't think you guys are going to get any new snow in New York City. So let me take this further out. This should just pretty much slide. This is going to get going eventually and then just work its way kind of just like that. Maybe more like not that aggressively to the east. It's going to work its way up like that. Just kind of scrape Cape Cod and Nantucket. So what could have been for the 95 corridor? It's crazy, but it's just going to miss it by like that much. That much. Just wild. If you're just joining us tonight, post in the comments where you're tuning in from. If you we can go check in on your town. We do have some fresh snowfall numbers coming in from Paw Creek, North Carolina, 9.1 inches of snow as of 6:15. 6:14, Franklin, Georgia, picking up 3 inches of snow. Walnut Cove, North Carolina, 9 inches. And then Wytheville, Virginia, 4.5 inches of snow. So some nice snowfall totals coming in. If you would like to help add to that list, all we need to do is just post in the comment section and we can give you guys the shout out with your snowfall reports if you have measured the snow recently, or if you don't want to go outside and look, I'd love to know if it's windy or sunny or what have you, wherever you may be tuning in from across the country tonight. Great to meet you guys. And again, if you like just talking about the weather, would love to have you on board going forward and joining the team. If the weather's not impacting you right now, it might later. And would love to give you guys a shout out and would love to have you guys again join the team. All you need to do is hit that subscribe button. And would love to get your comments. At the very least, hit that thumbs up button. It does help us out a lot as we are streaming the weather tonight, watching the snow come down in Chapel Hill and in Boone, North Carolina. Road temperatures are pretty chilly. You see that down there in the bottom. As you might expect, it's 19, the road surface is in Charlotte. So everything's kind of sticking. Leon's in Savannah. He says it is snowing a lot here. OMG. We're going to go check up on Savannah, Georgia. Let me see if I have a camera. Jacksonville is a meat locker. Let's go see if I have a camera in Savannah. Doesn't look like I have one. Don't have one in Savannah, but I have one up the road. And yeah, night is falling, but it is looking. It's going to be in Georgia. Here are the national temperatures. Jacksonville is just above the freezing mark now. Those temperatures are tanking. Look at Phoenix. They're making fun of everybody. It's 80 degrees in Phoenix. We had somebody on earlier in Billings, Montana. Look at that. Or I should say in what was I thinking? Somewhere in Montana. It wasn't Billings. It'll come to me. 58 in Billings right now, though. 49 in Cheyenne, 64 in San Francisco, Las Vegas. We are at 70. I am going to be live tonight, so I'll be live also. I'll be live back on here probably after the 7 o'clock news. Probably more like 8 o'clock. And then I'll be back on the new 6 channel. So if anybody happens to be tuning in from Florida, I'm going to have a Florida-centric live look at 9 o'clock. So that's going to happen at 9 o'clock. But yeah, some heavy snow coming back in to Savannah. Complete opposite of that ice storm. Exactly right. I mean, when we were at 87 degrees when it was heavy snow and ice all through the deep south and into the north and east. It was lovely. But now Phoenix is the one. They are the winners. If you're out west, that is where you're escaping things. His black car is now white. I love it. Let's go to the radar for Savannah. I keep on seeing other comments, and then I forget to actually check in on the radar in Savannah. So there it is. Do you have like one last push? There's a one band of heavy snow. That's going to be closer to Hilton Head. And into Beaufort, where we're taking a live look tonight. At least we were. Oh, wait. I put it in the wrong spot. Whoops. That's Beaufort, Georgia now. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. We were talking a lot last night on the stream about the pipe issue, and I mean, again, we're getting into that mode for sure. So the heavy snow really coming into. There's one little burst. You'll start to lighten things up a little bit in Savannah, a little bit, but it's going to be lifting towards Hilton Head into the north of you shortly. So you should start to see the snow shut off in a little bit of time into Hilton or into Savannah. That's all kind of be pushing to the north and east of you tonight. While we were talking about it, that howling, freezing wind. There it is. Wind chill at 27 in Jacksonville, 28 in Orlando. I mean, again, this is pretty significant for Florida. I know a lot of people, will make fun of us when we're in jackets and 60. Like that's Florida cold. This is not Florida cold. Getting down into the Sunshine State. I mean, it's at 34. That's the wind chill right now in Miami. That's crazy. It's 1 degree below zero in International Falls, 4 in Pittsburgh, 4 in Syracuse. And again, it is much, much warmer out to the west. And here are the updated warnings. Virginia Beach and Norfolk, we're still in that winter storm warning. So I mean, it is going to start to lift. That is going to start to lift back to the north and east a little bit. So you might end up getting some decent snow. This is the great question here. Where is the so-called La Nina winter that most folks in the weather department have been predicting? Because it sure doesn't feel like it. So here's the deal: when in the La Nina, the northern side has worked out perfectly, with the Clipper systems coming through the Great Lakes in the interior Northeast, freezing. What hasn't worked out, and let me get back to a map where I can do some telestrating on. I'm just going to use a random map. So what really hasn't been there, though, it has been the subtropical ridge, because more often than not, we have this ridge building in the south and east. And as the jet stream kind of dips, we have the more active jet stream up here, and it kind of goes like this. A lot of times this year, it's been allowed to come like this. So what normally keeps us warm has been more hanging out into the Caribbean. So that's the reason why. That's the main thing. Part of the pattern has been there, but then that subtropical ridge has not. And that's why we've been allowed to see these cold blasts get a little further south than what they typically would. And other things that play as well. There's the Madden-Julian oscillation. There's a North Atlantic oscillation, Arctic oscillation. So there's a lot more than just ENSO or the La Nina or the El Nino of the deal, that are going to drive the weather. So that's the other important thing. All right, I have about 3 more minutes, and then I have to split for a short time to get ready for the newscast. If you're in the Central Florida area, tune in to News 6, CBS affiliate. Um, at 7 o'clock, we're going to have the latest on the crazy wind that is out there going forward. And we'll be back here a little bit later to talk about the snowstorm across the Carolinas. So if you're interested in that and staying up to date, hit that subscribe button for me. That would be crazy if Savannah ended up getting another snowstorm next year too. Like Florida had it back to back years, Savannah had it back to back years. To get a third year would be out of control. Just wild stuff. All right, I'm just going to make sure that all of my cameras are kind of situated for whenever I hop off the stream for a quick little bit of time. All right, we're going to give you a fresh one here. This is going to be Myrtle Beach. Yep, I'll be live again on the New Six page as well, and on Click Orlando, all of the Orlando stuff at 9 p.m. And I'll probably hop back on here prior to that, unless we have some other weather issues. Uh, for my real job, my day job, pop back up again as we're watching this. Meteorologist, we have the whole team here, kind of watching everything, um, as we are looking for some snow flurries, the potential for that in Florida. So far, still don't see any flurries getting down toward Tampa just yet, but that would happen a little bit later as that cold air surges down. Alrighty, guys, I have to split to get ready for the newscast tonight. Thank you a ton for being here. If you found this live stream helpful at all, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. It does help me out a lot. And if you want to join the team and be active as we go live more often and get out into the field and all that stuff, I need your storm reports. I can't do this without you. If you want to join the team, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you in the next live stream, which should be in a little bit. I'm gonna try to pop on here if the work side, again, as we're watching the cold front come through the Central Florida area, comes through there, and I have to watch that as well. But nonetheless, I'll be watching that closely, and I'm going to try to hop back on here also. So there's where it stands. This is the it says radar. I just haven't changed the title. That is the temperature anomaly. Look at the Gulf though. It's still above normal. That's crazy. That's wild. It's below normal closer to the shelf, but it's like out here, it's still a couple degrees above normal. That's wild. That was a good thing. That was a cool thing to check. Wish it was colder. But anyway, alrighty, guys, I have to run. I'll try to be back here at 8 o'clock on this stream. And then if I have anybody tuning in from the Central Florida area that wants a more direct update on what's going on in Central Florida, I will see you guys at 9 o'clock on clickorlando.com, the new 6 Plus streaming app, and of course on the new 6 YouTube channel as well. Thank you guys a ton for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up button. I'll see you soon.